Today is Sunday. I'm gonna touch on finance and the way how I'm gonna be sourcing finance and looking for perhaps approach different companies and organizations within the UK with regards to finance. It's probably worth mentioning that there were a lot of changes with regards to overall structure when it comes to hiring staff or overall company structures and all those details. I haven't read anything myself yet. I have seen that there was an announcement that there were a lot of changes with regards to a lot of details. I have done so much research before, so I understood everything back just a couple of months ago. But recently they have announced a lot of changes, so it might be worth taking a look at what changes were implemented with regards to running a company and all those details for everyone who's doing it. I would highly recommend taking a look at that. In this particular instance, I'm focusing just on UK. I'm talking just about UK and what is happening within UK. With regards to finance for your business, that I have put some thought into it and just looking for perhaps best way to approach it and optimizing my time. Currently gonna be looking to. I'm currently working a lot. I'm spending a lot of time working on my next book, so I'm gonna be releasing that hopefully next week. So I don't have that much time reading all the contracts and everything. So very least what I can do thorough research and see what opportunities are out there. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be approaching different institutions that I know of and asking, perhaps agreeing, perhaps to have appointments and see what opportunities are out there. I believe that might be best approach for this weekend. I'm gonna do a similar one next weekend. Hopefully, I will see. Once the time will come. Until then, what I'm gonna do now, what I have done already, a lot of things. That would be, I have written to different institutions in UK about what opportunities they do have available. That would be perhaps funding opportunities for different issues, causes. Some of them would be limited to region or location. It depends. There are so many of that. It could be hundreds. So yeah, so I have sent a number of emails already. Hopefully, I will be able to arrange some interviews, and perhaps if I will be able to sit down and understand a little bit more about the process of what's like working with some of those organizations. Since from my personal experience, that could happen where you would send out the project to that organization and you would not necessarily receive respond from that organization. So instead of doing that, I'll try perhaps just optimizing my time currently. I'll try to arrange appointments with all kind of different organizations first. Would that be government or organizations, with perhaps with local institutions or councils? And perhaps if I'm able to arrange interviews, sit downs, and understand what would be the process of working together, instead of perhaps jumping straight away in some of these projects, and my project might fall out of scope just slightly, and that would be a deal breaker for many projects, I guess. If it would fall out of scope, instead of doing that, I would step back and perhaps begin by introducing myself and understand a little bit more about the process. I'm already preparing for New Year. It's what would be there. There would be so many different opportunities within New Year's, and I'm just testing the waters, testing the markets, and see, or would be looking for opportunities, how what it's like working with different councils, and if there would be any projects perhaps I could deliver for New Year's. Would that be perhaps? I personally focus on the engineering projects, but that they would consider that that's an art project, I guess. I'm hoping to keep the people busy. So having perhaps interesting projects with engineering, interesting projects would be something. Have some lights, I don't know, LED lights. I don't know, so all kind of people interested in all kind of things, perhaps for New Year's. And if we can do something interesting together, that would be great with different consoles. a lot of institutions, especially if before they're doing business with any organizations, depends. They prefer to stay neutral many times, so they not necessarily would like to meet with myself or any other business, but that's just one of those areas perhaps worth mentioning. Not necessarily we would agree or will perhaps to disclose any information about the process and anything other than it would be published on the website. So that, to the most part, that's most likely how it's going to happen. It perhaps worth mentioning that most likely a lot of institutions would say that not necessarily would during an interview or oral meeting they would disclose anything else that no, it wouldn't be necessarily published on the website. There are different websites for those who are interested. This might require too much of your time already. I have done it so many times already. But there are websites who are offering over just one website that could offer 250 different grants if you have time to read all of those contracts, as well as would be local government that perhaps offer 10 different contracts. If you would look perhaps central government, that might offer another 60 contracts without going deeper into perhaps different departments within government. Those particular departments, something perhaps that I need to take a look at myself, was the looking not necessarily. That's something that I need to do, as well as I was looking at perhaps support from government to perhaps deliver projects not necessarily just within domestically but perhaps worldwide, and that's another about 60 different projects that someone needs to read basically and understand it very well, and just taking time I guess and trying to do those. I don't know when's the busy time when everyone's I don't know if that's a business and it goes. I do understand some of the cycles and seasons, and there might be changes with regards to how many opportunities are there available. But I believe there would be, depending on the current time, there might be a lot of opportunities within education. That's what I'm focusing on stuff right now, perhaps, and preparing slowly for perhaps New Year's, and from there would be next year, and there might be different opportunities. That's my own understanding about how this process should work, but I don't have that much experience within a particular area yet. I have published a book. Name of the book is Game Strategy. I have put a lot of work into it. I would highly recommend for everyone who is interested, or perhaps perhaps not for everyone to start their own business, for very least perhaps understand how to do it. I would definitely recommend for everyone to try this kind of experience and a bit understand what it's like starting and running your business, and how hard it can be and how challenging it can be every day. Either way, if you're looking perhaps where to begin, and understanding a little bit more about the process, what that would be like, I would highly recommend and taking a look of and reading this book. You can find it at my company's website, or it's also available on top retailers online. Thank you. Why I'm currently looking for grants is just because currently that's I believe I mentioned that before, but just so you know, it's the worst time to take out a loan, business loan. It's the worst time to do it, just because of the percentage of interest rate and how expensive it is to borrow money. But either way, that's my personal opinion. Ones out there can make their own decisions after perhaps consulting with your financial advisor. Other than that, perhaps I'm looking for other opportunities out there within the market. Would that be grants, or in particular that myself I would be interested in, where not necessarily I would need to put on all of 100% of capital of my own money, and perhaps different organizations would be looking to hire people who could solve that particular problem, and I can prepare a project to solve that particular problem, and we all can work together with those organizations. I prefer, especially right now, to try doing things this way. Perhaps in the future I'll try doing things differently, but right now that's what I'm interested in. Well, then perhaps borrowing money would be very cheap, perhaps 2%, 3% interest rate, ideally. then I would think about doing different projects. But currently, I'm thinking about how I can solve problems for different companies and how I can work with them together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.